The idea of humility is often mentioned in spiritual teachings, and the mind can interpret that in a human way, you can say, like being modest and lowering yourself, you know. When it comes to awakening, however, I see the term or concept of humility in a more mechanical lens. It's associated with stepping back, humility, and allowing that isness to is, right? Granting it its isness or wholeness, stepping back and not colonizing it, not seizing it, not injecting notness over it, not not asserting control or hijacking its identity, right? It's like, for example, the color blue. Colonizing it is saying, I'm the one. I'm the one doing blueness. I am blue, right? You are hijacking, you are usurping, and then taking the credit, right? Humility is, of course, the opposite of that. It's allowing it to be at the stage and have its isness. It's like allowing the performer to perform on stage and just be in appreciation of it. Or let's say the metaphor of being a disciple or being an apprentice, you can say. You step back, right? You step back and let the quote unquote the master or the teacher or you could say the professional do its thing, do their work or do their expertise. It's not invading them, usurping and taking upon yourself the work that is supposedly ascribed to them. It's recognizing that they're the ones who has that attribution, right? And so that's humility. It's non-intrusion, non-controlling, non-ruling over, non-dominating, or non-taking over or sabotaging. You can say it's basically siding with the workings of emptiness because that's how emptiness is. It doesn't colonize. It doesn't take upon itself the attribution or steal the credit, you can say. It doesn't sabotage and inject notness. It's out of the way. You can say it has no egoic agenda because it's emptiness. That's its quality. Empty. It's also not caught, right? It's also not caught in tight identification with a negative idea or ideas of disempowerment. It's not lost in the muck. It's not possessed. It's not possessed by the concepts of neediness, lack, confusion, all the egoic needs, right? Needing to belong, needing to lash out, needing to take out your stuff onto the world and dump it onto the world, needing to be heard, be understood, be esteemed in some kind of way, be compensated, right? Be rewarded, etc. Emptiness, it's not part of that game. It's not part of that the childish games. It's emptiness, right? And so you can say it's already graduated from that gladiator arena. It's dead. It's dead from that human insanity. Now, I noticed that everything can be reduced to its core concept, which is yesness and notness. It's like whatever quote unquote state you're in, it can be reduced to either your buying into the belief in notness, or you are in siding with, you can say siding with yesness. This reminds me of the binary code. And as we know, binary code is the most basic form of computer code, which consists of 0 and 1. It's the reduction, right? It's reducing it to its simplest form, 0 and 1. And in the same way, with the reality, with the Earth human experience, everything can be reduced to that simplest core concept, 0 and 1, notness and yesness. Like in any moment, you are either in granting of the wholeness or yesness of something, or you are in entertaining the notness salesman. You know, it all boils down to that. It all comes down to that 0 and 1 core concept. I find myself always referring back to emptiness because it seemed to also be that which leads to or allows for fullness. Because emptiness grants, can only grant the wholeness and fullness of something. And so when you're in, you can say, siding with emptiness, what you quote unquote get is fullness. Because that's what emptiness does, you know? Again, emptiness does not shatter, does not fragment, does not inject itself and identify, with ideas of notness. It recognizes the isness of notness. It can only allow or make way for the isness and wholeness of everything. And so the sense here is actually, ironically or paradoxically, is fullness. And so it's very interesting. The more you get in there, the more you invade and shatter and train with and mesh with, the more in notness you are. The more in wreckage, wreckage you are. And so the position that you're coming from is it's not here. It's deconstructed. And so I'm trying to get there. I'm trying to get to the isness or wholeness of it. But only because you're there, only because you are inserted there. And so thus then causing, quote unquote, causing the wreckage of it, the fragmentation of it. And so that's what you get. That's the experience that you get. There is the mixing, and with mixing comes non-clarity, comes the chaos over something. And so what you get is the notness of it. And so again, therefore, I have to go seek it. I have to go chase it. I have to go get it. Right? But when there is the unmixing, stepping back, coming back into home base, emptiness, then there is the, you can say, clarity of something, of the isness and wholeness of something. And so what you get is the isness and fullness of it. The image that comes to mind is, let's say, a coin. And then the two sides are not separated. The two sides, the heads and tails, are in chaos. They're kind of mixed together. So imagine a coin that is kind of, bent or distorted or twisted, and the head side is at the tail side, and the tail side is at the head side, right? There is the non-clarity. It's unusable. There is the disfigurement of the coin, right? And so when a person comes from this place, we can see that their ways is that way too. They're destructive, Their ways are distorted, corrupt, twisted, causing chaos and destruction, basically. And so, when finally there's the unmixing and the coin comes into balance, you can say, there's now the head sides and the tail sides all on their own property, all in their rightful place without, invading one another. And there is now the respecting of the rightful place, right, of each side. Then we now have the whole coin, right? We now have the fullness, the wholeness of something. Now, in our world, currently at least, power is equated with money. Money is what runs the world, basically. A lot of people are moved into action via money. And so you can say that's the power of money. It can move things. And so, in the same way, our power lies in our currency. And by currency, I mean like attention or whatever we're feeding or entertaining. Whatever we're putting our attention, our company with, like what we side with, what we accompany, what we give way to, what we grant wholeness to. And so we can notice that the word grant also applies to a sum, to a monetary amount. And so, in the same way, when we are in this place of granting, of choosing, right, which to fund, which to funnel our currency to, that's when we are in our power. It's not when we are submerged or lost in the gladiator arena. We have to be in this collected, stepped back place and withdraw our funds or investment or entertaining, right, from notness, from negative ideas or ideas of disempowerment. And I'd like to mention that that's the thing. Emptiness is already that. Emptiness is already, quote unquote, doing that. It's already non enmeshed. It's already non lost. It can only ever grant the isness or wholeness of something. It cannot be lost in notness. It can only ever grant the isness of notness, so you're still in isness. Emptiness can never be possessed, by notness. It's always self-possessed. It's always self-contained, you can say, because it's emptiness. It's empty. And so, again, it's already the case. From the perspective or POV of emptiness, it's already the case. That's why it benefits us to side with it, to side with that which is, quote unquote, already doing it, So it's not about doership of, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to get this, chase this, seek this, I'm trying to get there. That the state, you can say, is a signal that you're in the muck, you're in the deconstructed fragments or rubbles. So it's a signal for us to step back so that you can say the isness, the structure forms back together, integrates back together as a whole. And so what we get or what we get to enjoy is the wholeness of it. And so basically the reduced, simplest, essential core movement here is being with, right? Being a quote unquote a disciple or a devotee to that which is already doing it. It's kind of like being in a place of curiosity. How will, you can say, emptiness treat this particular arising? How will it approach or treat this particular situation? It's again, it's like being an apprentice. You are in that open, curious, humble place instead of asserting yourself or asserting ideas of shoulds and shouldn'ts, right? Basically, you're siding with or are in discipleship with that which is already doing it or that which is already happening. It's already in respecting of yesness, that which is already in granting of wholeness, instead of entertaining or allowing yourself to bleed out to the idea of not yet, not yet doing it, not doing it, hence I have to do something in order to be that. It's using your currency to quote unquote fund that which you prefer instead of being used or possessed by ideas of notness.